Okay, folks. All right. It's me. I'm back. I'm back and better than ever. No, actually, I'm not. I'm not. I'm not better than ever. I don't feel that much better. All right. Oh shoot. All right. The whole idea of these non. I was just thinking about. Never mind. Um, somebody shooting me. um, Guns do go off. They're awfully close around me. All right. The whole reason for all right, releasing unedited is for absolute transparency, and so I guess I'll continue. And then the edited are probably the better ones to watch. Although the idea is that the edited can chat. I mean, in particular, if somebody said something that came out wrong and didn't mean to say it the way it sounded, then in editing that could be cleared up. So that would be an honest editing. But on the other hand, it takes away what nature is automatically throwing in with it. It takes away the complete honesty, because it can also change meanings completely from what they originally were when one edits. So, so for complete transparency, that's why I do it. So this is going to be probably another long one that I will probably have to edit down to half the length. But I just wanted to straighten out, yeah, um, or be straightened out. All right. And speak to the exact same pictures as before. Only this time, go ahead and pause on them and allow a little bit of a more thorough explanation on these, and then also some story will come out, because I'm not going to worry about context. I'll tell certain things out of context, and that'll just be the way it'll be done for now, and we'll figure it out as time goes by. So, do I dare start it? This is my 1936 Chevy. It took me a little doing to get that. And that's the way nature has been working for me. And I do complain about being broke all the time, but it's because I was broke all the time. It's because I'm always like this. I bought for myself to drive, and I did a lot of work on this. Of course, all new brakes, all new brake lines, master cylinder, wheel cylinders, tires, new gas tank, new fuel pump, new. I don't know if I did it. I don't know. The whole car completely serviced, so that everything's 100%. The one thing I did have to add, I'll use this little pointer. These on the fenders, I needed to put turn signals because it didn't originally come with turn signals. So I added these little bullet things on the fenders in the front. Luckily, I had two taillights. A lot of cars this year only had one taillight. Luckily, this one already had two, so I could change the filaments in there to make them dual filaments, and that way I could have turn signals front and back to make it more drivable. I mean, it's still antique tagged, and I didn't have to. I could always use my arm signals, but it seems like nobody knows arm signals anymore. So back in the day, and this would be way back in the day, I guess back in the teens, 20s, 30s, and probably up through the 40s, anybody using hand signals was very common, and people would know a left turn from a right turn or from a stop signal. Most cars had brake lights by the time they got into the late 20s even, so you didn't need to put your hand down low to indicate braking. But you would put your hand up for the right turn signal and straight out for as left. All right, so I let myself. If I go off on a tangent, I go off on a tangent. I'm not going to worry about it. I just want to. And I was being truthful. I have not been feeling real good today. The cardiologist still hasn't given the okay. The whole thing is in jeopardy unless everything counts on that. And then they asked me these questions, and one of them, in order to get the okay, I guess, is like if you have any itching. And actually, I had to lie on that, so now I feel bad about that. But I think it's okay because it comes and goes, and I don't even know what that would mean. I do know because it brings up to mind Marie joined the Marines. She joined the Marines soon after we were together. I was very proud of her for taking such a bold step, and she even got qualified as a Marine police. She was an MP, and is that right? Marine? Well, military police would be MP, right? But yeah, she wrote me to let me know that on the last day of qualifying, she managed to finally shoot I guess it's a revolver. I don't know if it's a revolver or automatic. But anyway, shoot the pistol accurately enough at the target to just barely qualify so that she gets to carry a weapon. So she was happy about that she gets to have the weapon. And so she had apparently a severe case of itching of the hives before she went in. And so it only bothers me a little bit because it's possibly an indication of something not so good. And now, of course, this whole time, what I probably should have done was start the slideshow and and let you guys be seeing pictures while I'm talking about something totally unrelated. I did want to talk about this 36 Chevy because I really love that car. And I did service it so that it was in perfect running condition, really. Nothing wrong at all. And everything working fine. The interior was decent. You can see the exterior is decent. This is a complete original, unrestored. And it went to the Netherlands. So if I had not been broke and needed the money really badly, I would never have sold it. But I did put it out there, and I can say I got $11,000 for it, and it went to the Netherlands, and he had it shipped over there. And then he sent me 2 weeks later. He sent me a email that he was on the cover of a local magazine with that car already, and so that's pretty cool. Probably the only 36 Chevy in the Netherlands. All right, I'm gonna let it continue a little because I still want to finish about Marie. So it turns out that she ended up after being full, she got through basic training and all that. She got to be a policeman, and well, after attending a party, they questioned her, her higher ups, and they wanted her to rat on her fellow people, the others that I guess she went through basic with and everything else. All right, I don't know. Do I stop on the Horex? Or do we just, maybe I'll do, we'll let nature be a little more in charge. And wherever I end is where I end. So for right now, while I'm telling this story, I like this. While I'm telling this story, because these scenes of Oli, a lot of them are just, oh, why did I tangent over to this? Oh, by the way, that blue one right here, I got to say, this, because I didn't make it clear in the first video. I really quick squeezed in that the blue was rare. The blue was super rare. This is a French moped, the Solex. This is in the 70s, I believe, and it's in excellent condition. That's because the guy that got it never rode it. He said he rode it twice, and I got it from him. And so I serviced it into perfect working order, of course. And what it turns out to be, that is a promotional giveaway item for Pepsi Cola. And of course, Pepsi famously uses blue as its color, where Coke is red, Pepsi is blue. All your Pepsi machines are blue. So Pepsi was, and I did have the ads and everything. I showing the ads and that had it. They were giving it away, and so I think altogether they gave away 10. I think they gave away 10. Maybe it was 20, but I think it was 10, and so these are the only 10 Solex mopeds ever made that were made in the color of blue. That's what makes this one particular so horribly, terribly rare. And why I said horribly, it's just that I remembered, just as I was saying it, I remember how little I got for it. I was very disappointed. I put a lot of work into it. I did not pay a whole lot for it, but I did put a lot of work to make it perfect. And I thought for sure, it being as rare, with only 10 of them ever made, that I would get better. And I believe I ended up taking like $300 or $400 for it, which it probably was low, but I was broke. I needed the money. Yeah, there you go. So, all right. So we're going to let these things roll. Gosh, I want to keep stopping, but the plan, I mean, there's a whole nother, there's a lot more story to this. See the coil here? This race bike, this is a 32, by the way. And in 1950, I think it was 50 or 51 or 2, but I think it was 50. I have a letter. I had a letter from, because it went with the bike, of course, from the racing people requesting that he get permission from his parents to race. Now, the guy is 24 years old or something. And it was some archaic rule about next of kin or something if he dies. I don't know what it was, but it was some kind of weird thing. And so I didn't even know what it all said until a Frenchman came out from France. He flew here to the Philadelphia airport and then rented a car and then drove down to my place here in Coatesville. Oops, am I supposed to say that? And for a different bike. He came down for a golf bag motor scooter, which has not been pictured yet. You guys haven't seen it yet. But that's an extremely rare scooter that I got out of South Dakota on one of my trips, driving big rigs, over the road. And there's a long, great, beautiful story about how I got that, and then how it went. It was extremely rare scooter. Anyway, he was a Frenchman, so rather than to dwell on that tangent, he was a Frenchman, so he could translate the letters for me. So I know what the letters said. And the reply to the letter was, I don't know why you're asking for permission. I think it was from his parents, from his father or something. I don't know why you're asking for permission now. He's raced in many races, and we've never had to give our permission before. But of course, we certainly do give our permission for him to race. Now, this had to be and plus I had the entry form showing that he was paid up and entered in the race. And it was, I think it would have been a dirt track, kind of a dirt track, even though there's kind of streety tires. It would be a hard packed dirt track. And this is a 2-speed, and it would have originally, I think, had a tank shift, and it was converted down to foot shift. The kicker still worked. So what's interesting about it? Oh, and in transit, I bought this from France. I had this imported along with the 39 Peugeot. I bought this from France. I won it on eBay, and I paid the customs and everything. And so this one and the 39 Peugeot came from a collection, from France. So in transit, they have to, of course, rip open the cartons and look in there, the damn people at customs. And the reason I curse them is because they stole the rear number plates. It had 3 number plates. It had a number plate on the front, and what's really cool, I don't know if we'll ever see from the front. I have a lot more pictures of it, of course, but I've just stuck with what I have loaded here right now. The it has handwritten, like hand numbered. It's like number 12, I think. And it's the same was true for the 2 number plates on the back, and they were hand painted 12. And so I guess somebody at customs liked them, so they took the 2 rear number plates, and because they weren't fastened, I guess, on there at all, or they weren't well fastened. The front one's better. So yeah, pretty disappointing. That's why I damned them. And turns out on inspection and going over it. And of course, I got all tires inflated, brakes working, and of course, I had to get it running. And this is the most exciting part for me always, is getting them running, because you don't know what you have until you hear it run. You just don't know. And I was so pleasantly surprised. Here's the thing. Here's what it was. I don't think it ever entered that race. I think that was its last race that it didn't get to enter. I mean, it is a 32, and that was, I think, 1950. It's a 125 is what it is. It would have been in the 125 class. I'm pointing with my pointer, you guys might see, to the Magneto. It had lost spark. The Magneto was weak, and it had lost spark. So with no spark, he couldn't race it. And so that's how it comes to me so well preserved, because it was such a simple, minor thing. It had no motor issues. It had nothing wrong with the motor. The only thing was it didn't have spark. So what I did was I added a coil and a battery, so that now it could run a total loss battery for spark. And that's all you would need for a race. And it was a small motorcycle battery. I said, oh, here's the plate for the battery. It's not on here right now. The motorcycle battery would have gone right there. But here's the coil that indicates that we're not using the Magneto. In fact, that's the spark plug wire coming out of the Magneto right there. So once I got spark, I could start it up, and man, that motor running real good, and no knocks or noises or anything. And the other thing that was really fun about it is that it was super fast. It's only a 2-speed, and in first gear it would do like 40 miles an hour in first. It was like, I don't know, maybe not that. It was 30, but it sure felt like, I mean, it just really was a tall gear, what you'd call a tall gear. So, and then second, obviously, would do well over 60. So that was a lot of fun to do. And of course, that went to a racing enthusiast. I think he had a museum. So that's probably in a museum now. And so, yeah. All right, now, and the Horex, another long, I drove that one. I actually bought my truck I'd had for 20 years was just starting to get to not like the long trips, and I needed to pick this up down in Georgia. And so I actually bought a new to me truck just so I could go get this. And it was the first drive for that truck. And there's a whole bunch of story more about that. But yeah, I don't want to get off on. I want to finish the. So yeah, it's a 350, and of course that's the Orthopedia made in '61 in Czechoslovakia. Probably less than 10 of them in the world. Probably less than 5 of them in the world. I love that. The really nice condition, Sears Allstate. All right, so I'm back to doing this narrating again. All right, so I'm not going to pause. That's right. We're trying, what am I up to? 20 minutes. You know I always count the time off. So, gosh, I traded, you wouldn't believe what I paid for this thing. You would not believe it. And it was all because I had a Sunbeam. No, it's a Sunbeam Alpine. No. It was the Triumph Herald. The Triumph Herald that I did a complete servicing of, and it was in perfect working order. It came out of a hardware store, the Herald, and I couldn't sell that car. I couldn't get a decent price for it. So finally, I let this guy have it for a song. For this little 50, it's a 50cc Jawa, and it's not a moped because it has pegs. It's a motorcycle. People will call it a moped or a scooter. It's not either. It's a motorcycle. So anyway, yeah. So I think I got like 1,000 plus this, which is what, 500 or something, maybe 1,000, maybe 2,000 total, and it was worth 4. It was worth twice what I sold it for. So, all right, I digress again. So Marie, when she got the hives and all the bad itching, well, it was like, I guess it was, and then she went to the doctor and everything, and they told her, well, it has to be psychosomatic because you're about to join the Marines. And it did go away as soon as she got to the boot camp. And so now I have a little bit of itching. And I'm wondering what it means. And that's at the V12 in there, and that's the 1912 Model T. Gosh, when I look at these pictures, how am I going to not sidetrack onto these when I see them? I'm looking for where I end on this story, whatever picture I end on is the plan, to make that my way of choosing what pictures I elaborate on. So they wanted her to rat on her friends and tell them who was drinking, but more so, I think drinking was okay because they're at a bar, who was doing coke or smoking pot. And she would not rat on them. She's like, they're on their private time. They're off duty. They're off duty. If they want to get high or whatever, they can do that. I'm not going to rat on them. And so she got kicked. I mean, that's simple. She got kicked out of the Marines for not ratting on her friends, which was very noble of her. That was the correct thing for her to do. So, yeah, and I think at least she got a general discharge instead of, it wasn't a dishonorable, because she hadn't done anything to be dishonorable, but she didn't get an honorable. I think she got a general discharge. So the problem is that it wasn't long after that after we had spent time together, and she came to me on my birthday. So that's how that went down. Now, I'm not going to get into, there's a whole lot more. If anybody will encourage me, I'll tell a lot more. But here's the thing. She was walking with her then boyfriend it was really only, I think, a few weeks, maybe a few months later after coming home from, and they were walking across the street in a residential area, and a drunk driver doing over 80 miles an hour on, a street with stop signs or stop lights at every single intersection, right in the middle of town. Apparently the guy had been Later, I heard 5 or 6 times already arrested for drunk driving, and here he was on his 6th time, I guess, 80 miles an hour plus, flying down the road. And we kind of know where this is going, but it's even worse than where we know it's going. Her boyfriend at the time had her by hand. They were holding hands. And he, trying to save her, apparently. I mean, I get so mad. I can't help it. I don't know. It's not exactly mad. It's like a frustration. I don't know how to describe what I feel, except for the extreme sadness. He was pulling her across the street when the car hit her. So, what the hell, man? I'll go ahead and say it. God damn. You pulled her straight into the line of the car. I mean, I have a little more coordination and a little more spatial awareness than that myself. And I guarantee if we were hand in hand, I would not have pulled her in front of a speeding car. So I never met the guy. I don't know. I don't know anything, and I'm sure he was devastated. But there went that. That's nature. That's the world that I live in, and that's how it went for her. And I was part of her life, and she was part of mine. So, what does that mean? Doesn't it mean that it just involves us all? We're all tied on this planet together, like it or not. We're made up. Apparently, I just saw this. I was watching Neil deGrasse Tyson and a couple people talking, and apparently, I'm going to lean back. I know the phone can still pick me up. Apparently, we're not the same as we were, and I don't remember the exact time frame because it's more the gist of it is the fact that we're not the same people that we were just a day ago or a week ago or whatever it is. But over a short period of time, like a week, we're just a design in nature. And atoms go through our bodies and out the other side or whatever. Where atoms are constantly filling in to make all the molecules that exist in us. Well, the fact is that none of the atoms that we had like a week ago are still there, or a month ago. I don't know what the time frame is. All that's important is that we're not even the same person we were. I mean, we don't even have the same makeup. We're a design in nature. We're a design, and nature itself, with atoms and molecules and everything, is constantly, we're part of it. We're part of nature. We're in nature. So I don't know. That's an interesting point that because it coincides a little bit with what I'm saying as far as and people talk about like the body and the mind talking to each other. Sometimes that's a real simple way of talking. And that's interesting because, of course, the body is completely nature. I mean, it's completely in nature, especially considering that it's just a design that exists. It's not even it's not unique in any way. As far as all the atoms and stuff going through, they're just all passing through, and so the body is simply part of nature. So, wow, 29 minutes. How am I going to release this unedited when I a little bit more that I wanted to say? But it'll probably be easy to edit. I can probably cut this sucker down to 4 minutes. Oh gosh. So that Franklin came out pretty nice. So here's the thing. Yeah, we're all here for just as long as we are. And then, so what else did I have to say? Now I'm starting to wonder, because um, yeah, I just covered that little bit with Marie. That's how it came that she's not around anymore. And um, yes, I heard somebody say that's sad, and of course that's actually um, how nature works. We can hear each other. We can. Oh, if I wanted to tell some more of that, I could. Because we just did it. Like I say, I just heard in my head, that's sad. And it wasn't me saying it, although it is me. I mean, it's my subconscious, whatever. I said to myself, that's sad. But I recognize I felt like somebody out there, probably watching or hearing. Or it was strictly just me. It really doesn't matter. That's the point in our thinking, except that I think it helps to recognize that we use other people's minds all the time to do our own thinking. And so here's the thing. Yeah, that demonstrates perfectly what happened. The night that she died, I got up from my couch to get some milk from the refrigerator. I walked around the back of the couch and got as far as about a quarter of the way across the back of the couch, where I was then frozen in space. I was frozen in my tracks. Um, I mean, I'm not fighting or trying or anything. It's just, but I can say unable to move wouldn't be inaccurate since I didn't. But I guess, I don't know, I could have fought it if I wanted to, maybe. It never even occurred to me to try to fight it. I mean, I'm just being natural. I'm in my house all alone. Nobody's around, whatever. If I was in public, maybe I would have kept walking or something so nobody would see me just being frozen in space and time. And I heard a voice say, "Do you love me?" And now at that time, there were two girls in my life that I communicated with that way, that I could feel, that I could talk to in my head. One was Michelle and one was Marie. So I said, yeah, of course I do. And then I said, I wouldn't have written you all that if I didn't. And so then I could feel her and me simultaneously thinking about what we'd written, what she had received and what I had written. Now, again, I thought it was Michelle was far more common for me to feel Michelle talking to me. But I had communicated with Marie as well that way. So it wasn't an uncommon thing for me to have that kind of a communication. I thought it was Michelle. It wasn't, of course. We both thought about what I was talking about, and then she said. And I hope I'm not missing any of the lines. Sometimes I tell the story and I realize later I missed one of the things that was said. But the gist is that there was certainly, yeah, do you love me? Of course I do. I wouldn't have written you all that if I didn't. Thinking about what was written, then she says, gosh, I think there was some other thing that she said, but by the end, okay, she said, what about Marie? You see, I had thought about the stuff that because I said I wouldn't have written it if I didn't mean it. And of course, when we were both paused there for a minute, thinking about what I had written, I was thinking about what I had written to Michelle, thinking I was talking to Michelle. She was thinking about what I had written to her. And the interesting thing is, there are some things that crossed over, because some things I wrote so well that they fit both situations. So all my writings were specifically for each person, but there was shared parts, because why write the whole? I mean, I like I encaptured something perfectly with one. I can use it. So I don't know. Is that wrong, or should it have been completely unique? But bottom line is there was similarities, but so that's why it took a little while to think on it, and then she came back and did say. Because it didn't match, And then I think she realized that it was Michelle that, oh, that's right. I think she said, "Who am I?" And I said, or something like that, and I said, "Michelle." And then, yeah. And then she said, "I'm Marie." And I felt her float away. As she's saying, "I'm Marie," she floated away up, just, I felt it. And then I continued my walk to the refrigerator. I got my milk. I went back and sat on my couch and drank my milk. It was just an interruption in the night. It was a quick communication in my head. The next morning, about 8 o'clock in the morning, I get a call from her younger sister telling me that Marie had been hit by a car the night before. She told me exactly what time it was, and it coincided, of course, exactly with the time that this occurred to me. So I know that it was a legitimate conversation, or at least, well, I can certainly believe it, if we would just want to go with that, because it's scant proof. I mean, to know something, you need to have so much proof, right? So it's pretty scant that I just happened to coincidentally be stopped in my tracks, have a complete conversation with her the night before, exactly when she was dying. That could be a coincidence, I guess, but I kind of would take that out of the realm of coincidence, okay? And I would say that happened to me, and I know it happened because it did. So the one thing that haunted me from that day, I was glad that when she asked me if I loved her, I'm glad I told her I loved her, but the fact that I was mistaken really bothered. Oh, that's right. That's right. She said, "What about Marie?" That's right. She said, "What about Marie?" After we had thought about the writing, and then and I don't know if she ever did. I might have just been. I don't know if she ever did say, "Who are you?" Like, I don't think I ever said Michelle, but she said, "What about Marie?" That's what she said. And after thinking about the writing, and this is what I said in my head, frozen in my tracks, on my way to get the milk, I said, "I can live without her." That was what I said. Thinking I was talking to Michelle, of course. That's when she said, "I'm Marie," and floated away. Now, I've always I mean, here's the thing. When a guy is a passive, all right, like a beta, I guess I like to say, the strongest move of a passive aggressive individual, I'm a passive aggressive. If I want to get something done, I guess I don't know. That's all I know is that's how best to describe. Well, the strongest move a passive aggressive has in his arsenal is to do away with himself. That's the strongest move, because that's how that works. It's just and of course, it only works once, and it wouldn't even work. And so it becomes, it's like it's not even an option, but it's the only. It's like when you know, you got to take it. You got to, if you're going to take it all the way, and you're really serious, well, that's your move. And of course, what am I going to do? She, the way I see it, the way I look at it, nature was giving us that conversation so that she would be maybe okay with, and maybe me too, the idea that I can live without her. That was important. So I look at it as kind of maybe it was saving me, maybe it was something. You know, there was more than one purpose to the conversation, and she has to know. She has to know that I loved her too. As I laugh out of the absurdity of it, right? But no, it's not absurd. A person can love more than one person. It's not absurd at all. So thanks, nature. That was nature reminding me that we are one. I think as we walk around and talk and stuff, we're constantly it's a duo. It's a duo. It's the self with the nature of it's the body and the mind. The body and the mind work together. They even talk together when they talk, and they think together. And it's just the way it is. So yeah, that's the story. That's only the tiniest part of my whole story. But I got off on that tangent talking about the 36 Chevy, and I'm wondering how that happened. Wow. I have to keep these to a... All right, 42 minutes. And I can't ask my public for much more than this. Oh, and there's so much more that I thought I might get to, and especially I thought I might get to... and did I finish the story? Yeah, he made the magazine and everything, the 36 Chevy. If it wasn't for me being broke, he would have never got it. My role in life has been to find this stuff, to go through heaven and hell to get it. And then when I get it, service it into perfect working condition, and then let somebody who is more right for it, I guess, than me. See, I'm right for this. I am right for that. And that's why I've had that for over 20. I've had that about 30 years. I've had that and not lost it, and I just won't sell it because I'm right for that. Nature knows that. I'm the right person for that vehicle and some of the others. But here's the thing. Now I throw that out just to start the sentence. I don't even know where I'm going. And I guess it might be nature that throws it out for me, and then I have to follow up. So here's the thing. Oh, so there isn't. What? Here's the what am I talking about? It's 43 minutes. There's the nearer car. That's from a recent trip. I just drove. I drove that to the doctor. It's quite an adventure to drive. So yeah, I was tangenting off on the 36 Chevy, thinking about how that's where I got started somehow on talking about Marie. Oh, that's right. I never finished. So I'm just wondering with the itching and everything, because in other words, she got itchy before going to the Marines, and within less than a year, she's dead. And so now I'm itchy, and I'm gonna go have surgery and stuff in a little bit here. And so does that mean that I only have a less than a year? I sure hope not. It doesn't feel that way to me, and that's not what I'm being told by my helpers, by my subconscious or nature. It seems like everything's going to be fine. But it bothers me a little bit that I have this itching. So I'm doing anything I can to keep my mind off of it. Yeah, I'm going to skip quickly through these. So you guys will have to be really fast if and all right. So maybe I was kind of waiting to get to this and go ahead and all right. I'm at 45 minutes, so I meant to stop it there. I'm at 45 minutes. Can I tell a 5-minute story about Lexi? So this is Alexis, is her full name. And wow, this is such a good story. I cannot tell this in 5 minutes. There is no way I can tell. I mean, I'm trying to tell it out of context and not give the entire context, and just tell the shortest part of the story and tell the rest later. But that is not easy to do, because I want to mention that not only was I seeing her, but I was seeing another girl with the name Alexis. That I didn't know either of these girls had that first name. I didn't know either one before I met them. I didn't know either one had the first name of Alexis. As it turns out, I was seeing two girls with the same, not the most usual, not the most common female name, Alexis. That's not common at all. Now, the other girl, who, by the way, was 18 and absolutely 10 out of 10, she went by Alex for short. And this was, all right, let's go through. And by the way, I wasn't talking about in the other video, I wasn't talking about all the stuff I've had that I could talk about. What I was talking about is all the stuff that has happened to me that I could talk about. And this is just some of what has happened to me. And so then I got off and talked about the Mercedes a little bit or something. I ended up, I loved how nature did that. I'm sure everybody noticed how nature, this is the red leather. By the way, did I mention that? Yeah, the red leather is super rare. Super, super rare, only 10% were ever were only imported to the United States. That's why, I forgot to mention probably and remember, we promised that wherever we stopped with the Marie story, we'd start with the next and by whatever picture was there. And I'm still thinking about Lexi, but the picture that's here is this Mercedes. This went to Austria. And the reason this went to Austria is because of that red leather. In Europe, in Germany, and all of Europe, Mercedes does not offer this is in 85. In 85, they didn't offer any Mercedes in red. Of course, that's what he told me, the guy that came and bought it. He said he was from Austria, and he said, no, this is, they only put the red interiors on cars specifically being exported to the United States. And of the cars being exported to the United States, only 10% or so had the red leather interior. Most had either the gray or the tan interior. I think there are two variations. I think there's a tan and a gray. And so the red leather made it extremely valuable. So I probably could have got twice as much for it, because he couldn't wait to fly out here from Austria, give me the money, and then have it shipped back. So this is how I've been used. Now, at some point, I'm kind of calling nature out at this point, and I'm saying, all right, come on, you got a lot of use out of me. What's up with that, and what can we do about that? And 49 minutes. I have to not go into this story. It has to be a tease, and I will tell the story. And I did think about I did think about, yeah, every one of these things has a story, but some a lot more than others. And I'm at 49. If I'm going to release an unedited version, I really need to. Well, you know what? Geez, an hour is still 10 minutes away. Gosh. Because what I wanted to do is I wanted to end this video with the suggestion, since I have no comments on any of my videos, except for one comment, which may or may not have been an AI comment. I have no comments. So what I was going to do was I was going to say, at first I thought just one person, if one person leaves a comment telling me to tell more of the story, more of, well, maybe my whole story, or tell of the planning day, or in this particular case, I could make it the story of, but I'm not going to make it that. I'm going to tell the short abridged one, and we'll figure out how that works from here. So that if I mean, that's just one thing, that being frozen in space like that. I mean, that's just one of many, many I have to tell. So this is how I have a unique perspective on what's happening. And and I just wanted to let that out, that this is the how I get the perspective I get, because I've had experiences that I've had. So I came out of, I checked myself into a hospital in California. I was over the road truck driving. My buddy Kenny told me going in, he could see my eyes dancing. He said, "You're coming. You're getting crazy again." And I'm like, "Yeah, I know. There's a girl I'm thinking about, and it's and I can feel it coming on. But to me, California is nothing. California and back, it's a 3-day trip out and a 3-day trip back. I can easily do this. My boss has already committed to the load from the dispatcher, and if you're committed to haul a load and then you back out of it, it's really a mess for everybody. As particularly it really screws the dispatcher, who thought he had that load covered, and if you back out. So I didn't want to back out. The load had already been accepted, and I've got to get out to LA to deliver it. And on my way, on my second day, I actually called my boss and let him know my mind is all over the place. I am so sidetracked. I am so distracted by my thinking right now. My thinking is so distracted that it's getting close to unsafe for me to drive. I can drive the thing straight down the road. I mean, I got no problem physically driving. All right, I'm going to go back to this. All right, 53. All right, I can do this. I'm trying to get it under an hour, or right at an hour. So, there's no problem with me driving. There never is. That's why I was the designated driver to all the concerts that we went to when we were younger. I could do acid and make it to the Spectrum, or one of those other places in Philadelphia that had the Doors, or the Grateful Dead, or the Crosby, Stills and Nash. Anyway, these venues, I was the only one capable of keeping my head together well enough to be able to drive in and out of town, and we could all watch the concert, safely, and everybody trusted me to get them home, and I never let anybody down, and so why did I bring that up? My goodness, I'm trying to get something done here. yeah, I can feel people, thinking about or I'm thinking about what I said. Like, should I let people know about my past? Of course, why not? What? The only limits I have to, like if there was something, I don't know. Yeah, if it's apropos, then tell it. Is the way. Yeah, that's what I'm getting. That's what I'm thinking. So, yeah, maybe I shouldn't look at the pictures. Just close my eyes and finish telling the doggone story. The damn story is, uh, yeah, what I guess I would say. Um, yeah, well, what it is, it's serious. I need to stop laughing and just because as far as I know, I'm talking with strangers right now. So it's serious, and that's what I need to slow down a little. Um, so I checked myself in when I got out there. Oh, we even changed the route. Well, we changed the delivery time. I told them, look, I've got a girl on my mind, and I can't stop thinking about her, and so. Right now, the LA traffic right now we have a scheduled delivery pretty much in LA that's Michelle, by the way. Um, we have a scheduled delivery for it's like 5. It's like the worst time you could possibly deliver in LA. I think it was like 4 or 6 or so. It was really close to rush hour, which means it's going to be a horrible drive. And so for that alone, I would probably like it to be rescheduled. But what we did was we scheduled it for 2 a.m. We've changed the schedule so I could drive from the rest stop that I stopped at outside of LA, like 30 or 40 miles away, so that I could drive into town at 2 a.m. and make that delivery safely. And then I could get to the Ontario truck stop, giant, huge TA out there basically in LA. It's officially Ontario. And then I'd be okay. So from there, I checked myself into a hospital, hoping they might have some medication. And then there's a huge story all around the hospital. Doesn't matter. Then I flew home. Another huge story all about that. Doesn't matter. Because we're going to go out of context. And what I'm going to say is we decided that I did have the biggest episode, we'll call it. I guess that's what the psychiatric field calls. They call it an episode. That sounds good. I like it. It's nice and clinical. So the big episode. All right, this is serious. I did have, and that's when I have a really tight communication, really close communication with nature and the planners and everything else. There must be a way to measure. I'm thinking about as far as scientific, as far as physics, and there just must be some way to measure what I'm talking about. And sooner or later, maybe somebody will figure out a way. But because it does affect nature just actually affects the way we operate, the way we think, and it's and keeping any kind of deity out, just talking about nature. So just talking about it like that, and let's keep imagination out of it. There's a whole other tangent I could go off on about imagination and about Jesus and all that. Is it necessary to imagine him, or is he real? Which is it? Because if you have to hear his story, otherwise all these people that go around. Yeah, I'm ruining my time. I know. Missionaries go around to tell the story, and I'm like, well, does he have to be imagined, or is he real? Which is it? Because if he's real, you don't have to imagine him. Some kid in Africa could be calling him Fred right now. Has a lifelong buddy he talks to all the time. Then he gets to the pearly gates and they go, yeah, I've been talking with Fred all my life. Oh, that's not his right name. You go and burn in hell now because you don't know his story. You have to know his story or you don't get in. That's so... All right, so I let myself off on that tangent. It took me to 59 minutes. To finish it very quickly, yeah, it's hard sometimes telling the whole truth and nothing but the truth kind of thing, isn't it? So I decided that if I really want to have a girlfriend someday, that I should at least try to be good at sex. That would be a good idea, right? So I decided this makes total logical sense to me. I don't care what anybody else says. I'm going to go onto the back pages there. I'm going to find a prostitute and I'm going to learn how to be a good lover. And that way, when I finally find someone, I'll be a good. Well, as it turns out, they even asked me on my way there, "Are you sure this is the one?" And I said, "Yes, this is the one." Although there were two in mind. I had a back out plan, of course. I do plan thoroughly. So I'm at 1 hour exactly now. And I could stop there and make you guys leave a message if you want me to finish the story. I probably should do that because for all I know, everybody's bored to death and don't want and nobody. But no, you see, I do that to myself all the time, and I got to stop doing that. That's why I kind of need. All right, there. Let's get back to serious and because I'm feeling self-conscious is what causes the laughter. So. Then there was there were several to choose from. Lexi was the girl I went to. I stopped I was compelled to stop the car along the side of the highway in the snow because it was January, I believe, and they asked me if that's the one, and I said yes, and so I went and learned a little bit from her. And by the third or fourth time, it came clear to me that she was a heroin addict. Not only was she a heroin addict, but I did go see the other girl that I briefly talked about. That was just a beautiful, beautiful girl. And a real nice girl. Both of these girls are nice. And she also had that problem. And the amount now Lexi was far worse. The other girl was not near. Alex was not near as bad off. She could kind of more or less still call her own shots. But Lexi was so deep in that the amount of money that she had to make per day was ridiculous. And she somehow did it. Nature, again, pushing us all along to do whatever it is we have to do to survive. Allowed that, of course, and even the first detox, they had to get some food and stuff in. I mean, her blood pressure was so low, and it was very difficult. She had, and my neighbors, who I lost contact with for over 10 years, not the guy, but his wife. Who I used to be really close friends with, she misunderstood what was going on, and so she was part of the plan of nature's plan because she, by being mean to me, made me dig in all that harder to do what I have to do. Once I found out that she had that problem, she has to be helped. She has to be, and it took 9 months, and 8 detoxes before it finally took. I told her whenever she's ready to go, give me a call and I'll take you. Day or night, 24 hours a day. I'm not doing anything else. Whenever you need a ride to the detox. So again, a lot. 8 times. And insurance is such a bitch. I mean, you can't hardly do any. They detox you and then throw you back out on the street. That's what they do to heroin addicts that want to get clean. All they want to, they're having a moment of clarity. They realize they're fucking up their lives. They want to get clean. They call, and then there's a 2-day wait for a bed. They're lucky to make it 2 days. And so I would be there, and I would be with her for those 2 days while we waited for a bed, and I would help to see that she got there. All right, I'm starting to get frustrated because I'm over my time at over an hour, and And I just figured, all right, I'll tell it out of context a little bit, or give just the minimal amount of context. And I learned a lot. I, of course, stopped any fooling around. So I didn't get much practice with her. I didn't get very much at all, because as soon as I found out her condition, then I never saw her again for anything other than to help her. That's it. That's the way that should be. I'm not a doctor, but I'm pretty sure the Hippocratic Oath, probably the first thing it says is do no further harm. I think that's what they tell the doc. Don't. First thing you do is don't make it worse. So, yeah, there's a lot more I could talk on that. All right, so this is where I'm going to leave it. I'm going to leave the unedited version. We all know that I have a whole lot more on that story and leading up and after. And I'm going to leave it up to the general public, which my general public consists of about 4 or 5 people, I think. So it's cool, because I probably couldn't handle a whole lot more than that right now in my head. There might be a stranger or two among that 4 or 5 or 6. I don't know. I mean, I've got 8 followers, so that's cool. All right, an hour and 6 minutes. I'm going to leave it like, okay, with only so many people that are my actual real followers here. And I don't know, because YouTube doesn't tell me, so I don't know who you are. I know who 2 of you are, because you're public. But anyway, I only know 2 of my 8 subscribers. And I also know 2 are probably strangers of my 8. So anyway, of anybody that sees this video, if you want me to finish the story about Michelle, about Aneda, or oh boy, I haven't even talked about Aneda, and I haven't talked about Michelle. That was nature effing with me. See, I'm supposed to say whatever comes into my head. I'm not going to say that word. I can't. I don't want to. All right, it's for adults, fucking. But that's what the word I was given instead of effing. I said effing. Nature would have had me say the other. I don't know. I'm busy explaining how my mind is working. That I'm so ridiculous, but am I? And so this is for someone to tell me. It's not. I mean, I'll tell the story about Michelle. I'll tell the story sooner or later of the natives. But my life story, in particular, does speak to, and there's a lot more to say around the 2 Alexises and my experiences with them. So anyway, if you all want to hear any more about the girls or my thinking on nature and how it works, and my planning day and all that kind of my whole eventually I could, if I don't have someone to keep me on track and to have me direct the story in a particular direction, then I'll have to do it on my own, which you guys know is all right. Again, I'm trying. I have a self-deprecating humor, and I'm kind of trying to curb that as I get out there. But apparently I've decided to be out there again, and so this is quite interesting, because I was promised the last time in California that there won't be any more big episodes. We don't have to worry about that anymore. They've got that under control. They figured it out. They also figured out, and it was and like I say, it was kind of their blessing that I got to have time with those 2 girls. And there's a lot more story. So if you all like the stories, and what I was going to say, originally I thought just one message telling me to tell more is all I need. But no, I'm going to make it more interesting than that. It has to be two. I have to get two messages telling me to tell more about nature, tell more about the girls, or tell more about my life story and how nature is involved in it, and tell more of my. They're not supernatural. I heard that word come in my head. Somebody might have been thinking it, but I heard the word supernatural come in, and they're not what I would call supernatural. They're what I would call metaphysical. I think is the more correct word. It's the most what do you call it? Distinct, defining. Yeah. Okay. It's the most. Clinical word for what has happened with me my entire life. I've had experiences that I can, some even better, maybe, none more impactful than Marie's death, but certainly maybe as strong, as interesting. Okay, it's the longest video I've made. And I'm going to stop right here, and then I'll be working for another day or two editing it down. But before I do that, I'll probably release the full. And 3 people, maybe, if I'm lucky, will see the full. And I don't know, probably they're just 3 of my friends and looking after me, and that's fine. I am fine with that. And if it's 3 strangers, I'm fine with that too. Just going with the flow. Okay, that's it. 1 hour, 11 minutes, and 20 seconds.